We treat time as objective. The sun rises, clocks tick, trains run, but time is made. It is crafted, it is negotiated, often imposed, but it is made. Standard time encodes choices about authority, empire, identity, and even erasure. Welcome back to Watches and Politics. I'm your host, Edi Shipoli, and in this episode, we trace how standardizing time became one of modernity's subtlest political tools. From railways and empires to Cold War labs and today's fight over daylight saving time. Before the late 1800s, every town kept local solar time. Noon was when the sun peaked. Fine for horse travel, impossible for railroads, of course. Britain's line solved it first. By the 1840s, the Great Western Railway adopted London time from the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. Railway time spread to post offices, government schedules. Centralist time became centralist power. In North America, chaos reigned. By 1870, the US used 80-plus local times. Railways acted without Congress. On November 18, 1883, they imposed 4 time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. Newspapers called it the Day of Two Noons. Washington only made it official in 1918, but the public had already shifted to this time management. Global standardization came at 1884 through International Meridian Conference, which happened exactly here in Washington, D.C. 25 nations agreed on a Prime Meridian and a 24-zone system. Britain, an imperial height, pushed for Greenwich. France abstained and clucked for Paris time domestically until 1911. Greenwich won and GMT became the reference. This wasn't neutral science, it was a cartographic coronation. Center the clocks on Greenwich and you center daily life on the British Empire. Today's UTC, essentially GMT with atomic precision, still keeps Greenwich at 0. Orientation is political. Who sets the standard and who adjusts? Colonial rule reordered not only borders but also days. Many pre-colonial societies followed cyclical, local, often sacred time. Monsoons, moon phases, prayer rhythms. Empires, especially British and French, labeled these as backward, replacing cosmos with clocks and schedules. British India shows the script. Local times yielded to Madras time, Bombay time, and ultimately Indian Standard Time. A railway-friendly unifier aligned with Raj priorities. Trains synchronized the colonist labor and markets to the capital's temple, often clashing with festivals and prayers. Across Africa, colonial schools, missions, and administrators enforced bells, shifts, and European weeks. French West Africa punished lateness by Parisian standards. Madagascar saw lunar ritual calendars sidelined. Declaring Western time as rational cast local temporalities as superstition. Resistance was often quiet but real, keeping market days, honoring lunar feasts, praying by the sun, temporal insurgency against imperial schedules these are. To set the clock is to set the order and to set the values. GMT wasn't just a meridian. It was a 19th, 20th century British crown jewel. Declaring Greenwich as the Prime Meridian in 1884, it said in effect, time begins in London. The 20th century demanded finer control, of course. Enter the atomic clock. About 1 second in 100 million years of drift. Born not for museums but for military supremacy, missiles, and spy satellites. GPS, the Cold War, ran on nanoseconds. Our current yardstick, the UTC, blends astronomical observation with atomic time. It's coordinated by the Bureau International des Poids et Mesures in France, which is something that I am mispronouncing. It's using a network of close to 80 atomic clocks in more than 50 national labs. Not coincidentally, in states with scientific muscles and geopolitical weight, such as the US, the UK, Germany, France, and Switzerland. As blocks decouple, time splinters too. Russia mulling alternatives, China building its own satellite timing, these are all political and geopolitical important happenings. On the wrist, prestige mirrors precision. The Geneva Observatory ran famed chronometer trials from the 1880s, passing comfort status. The Poinçon de Genève, or what we call Geneva Seal, created in 1886, certifies craftsmanship and accuracy, but only for watches made in the canton of Geneva. These marks don't just measure time, they define who gets to define time's standards. Switzerland wields no empire, yet in horology it is a superpower thanks to neutrality and to its standards. During both world wars, Swiss makers, shielded by politics, kept producing and selling timing instruments to both sides. Afterwards, while others rebuilt, Switzerland compounded expertise. In 1973, the COSC, Contrôle Officiel Suisse des Chronomètres, formalized performance testing. 15 days, 5 positions, 3 temperatures. Pass, and your watch is a certified chronometer. Pair that with the Geneva Seal, for craftsmanship rules, and you get a dual regime, measurable precision and regulated artistry. The result is more than luxury branding, it's national soft power. Swiss made is tightly protected. Majority of value and a Swiss movement must come from Switzerland. But it cements identity and price premiums. Switzerland doesn't project power with carriers, it projects certainty, selling standards, and the world pays to follow. Daylight saving time began in World War I for fuel savings, and it still divides publics and parliamentaries today. In Europe, an EU survey in 2018 found that 84% favored ending the clock changes, yet the bloc can't agree on which time to keep. Spain and France tend toward permanent summer, whereas Finland argues for winter time on health grounds. In the US, the Uniform Time Act of 1966 standardized the rules but allowed opt-outs. The Sunshine Protection Act, which would make a permanent DST, passed the Senate but stalls in the House amid competing interests, majorly farmers, physicians, retailers, and parents. Then there is China, spanning 5 natural zones, but since 1949 running solely on Beijing time. In Xinjiang, many Uyghurs informally use the Xinjiang time, which is -2 hours from the Beijing time, which is a quiet assertion of autonomy while state institutions enforce Beijing's clock. One nation, one time, unity as choreography and as control. Time is infrastructure. Markets chronograph across zones. New York Stock Exchange opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern to overlap Europe's morning and Asia's close. Logistics, schools, diplomacy, all ride the clock's plumbing. And those pipes retain imperial bends. UTC or GMT still anchors the map because 19th century Britain won that vote in Washington, D.C. Challenges simmer. India keeps a half-hour offset, which is symbolic neither London nor Beijing stands. Nepal adds 15 minutes to that. Russia scrapped DST in 2014 and has floated a sovereign satellite timing system, less UTC, less GPS dependence. Meanwhile, tech giants such as Apple, Google, Meta quietly standardize what calendars and formats you can use. Many traditional or religious time systems simply aren't offered there. Time's default are increasingly corporate decisions with cultural consequences. Time has never been neutral. From Victorian railways to Cold War atoms, from DST fights to Beijing time, every standard encodes power. GMT's victory in 1884, UTC's lab network, Geneva seals, each is a political inscription. The watch on your wrist doesn't just count seconds, it marks centuries of hierarchy about whose minutes matter most. So when we say the world runs on time, we should ask whose time? Greenwich at zero, UTC in orbit, Beijing on the mainland. Timekeeping reflects the deep structures beneath our routines. Next time you check the hour, you're syncing with history, politics, and someone's vision of order. In our final episode next, we pull it all into the present. 10 life questions from smartwatches, data geopolitics, to the quiet power of auction houses and boutique suppliers, where time, money, and influence keep conveying. Until then, keep asking who sets the clock and, of course, stay on time.